Rich Eisen, busy last night, had Thursday night, Bills and the Jets. Some of the Bills complaining about playing on Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
If they had won, do you think that Richie Incognito...
Come on.
Richie Incognito said that he doesn't like Thursday night. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I think he used far more not safe for language for work. I didn't hear any complaints when the Eagles went to Carolina and won on the road in a short week, or the Rams winning on a short week on the road in San Francisco. Didn't hear any of that. Didn't hear the Texans short week when Deshaun Watson had his first career start and had left tackles be his tight ends because they were all in the concussion protocol for the short week. Look, I also heard what Sean McManus said of CBS, which is interesting because the Thursday night football contract is up right now. There is a ton of windows. There's a ton of football windows. I mean, last week, just count it out, because we had the Browns and Vikings on NFL Network in the earlier London window at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. Thanks for watching, by the way, Dan.
I did watch.
Appreciate good. Very good.
I was up watching.
I appreciate that. So on that week, you had a Thursday night football window. Then you had 4 different windows on a Sunday, from the London game, the 1 o'clock Eastern, the 4 o'clock Eastern, then the Sunday night football game, then the Monday night football game. If you want to throw in, because you're talking about football fans who have to, one would think, parse out their weekend to try and find a place to sit in front of a television set to watch a football game while they have kids or what have you. Then you include the noon Eastern window for college football, the 3:30 window for college football, the 7 o'clock window for college football, the Pac-12 window of 10 Eastern. I've lost track how many windows I just mentioned. I just mentioned 10 football windows on a weekend. So
does Thursday night football continue?
Well, absolutely it continues, because it's a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I proffer to say, as much as whatever anyone in the network television world is saying about how there are too many windows, and I do agree with that. Still, when it's up for grabs, who's going to say no to that?
Well, there's talk that maybe ESPN doesn't renew their contract for Monday Night Football.
We'll see. I guess we'll see.
But it's so much it's such a large part of their programming to not have Monday Night Football.
Well, I don't know.
But that's $1 billion they spend.
I remember when we were there, that in the contract with, I don't know how interesting this is to anybody who just wants to watch TV, but in their contract with cable subscribers, that they get to charge more money if they have the NFL package than not.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this all works out, but I know just my own personal numbers on game day morning, on Sunday morning. We've had the best start in the history of the show since 2008. We've had the best numbers ever. So there's still an interest out there. The question is how sustainable is it?
Rich Eisen joining us. The Rich Eisen Show will follow this one immediately on DirecTV, Audience Channel 239.
I appreciate you having me on the show today, Dan, to increase the level of beefcake.
Yeah. From Julian Edelman to you.
Look, it was funny one time when I years ago.
Beefcake.
Yes, beefcake. Interviewing Tom Brady for my podcast show that now the show after this one has been grown into. At any rate, I'm interviewing Tom, and I honestly picked out my best suit and tie combination, and then decided, you know what, I'm gonna go sweater vest too underneath. Wow. So I'm just gonna raise my game.
Wow.
And I came to that interview looking my absolute best, and then Brady walked in, and it looked like I was wearing a burlap sack. The toughest two shot of my entire career. What was the toughest two shot of your career, Dan? Other than this current one now.
Yeah, this is tough right here.
What was your toughest two shot?
Who was it's in my contract to always interview somebody who's not as good looking as me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, who's the arbiter of that? I mean, who makes that decision? Do you make that decision?
I do. I make that decision. So there are times I've had to pass on some interviews there. Yeah, a lot of interviews. I don't even know how I got Edelman in here. He snuck through somehow.
He's selling books.
Yeah.
He's selling books.
Yeah. The Andrew Luck situation.
Not good.
This is bad. Like, somebody really screwed up here. If they raised false hopes instead of couching this by saying this is a tricky injury to come back from, they said he was going to be ready opening week.
Yeah, they did do that. But I think the fan base that might be upset about not, or if they do feel that they weren't given the straight skinny, I think they would much rather, they would much prefer finding out what is the plan to make sure that he does not get hammered in the pocket anymore. Assuming that he's going to come back from this. He played 48 of his first 48 games and then 22 of his next 48.
Yeah.
So.
But you knew the line was bad. I watched Jacoby Brissett, who's got mobility, and that guy's running for his life.
Well,
I wouldn't bring him back this year.
I know. I think you said that on, right here about a month ago.
Yeah, I would not bring him back.
No. So I think they're making the right decision here. Of course, you're going to start hearing tons of rumors that the reason why they're sitting him is because they want to trade him, that they're going to have a high draft. The same conversation the Colts had when Peyton Manning went down with his neck injury, that, okay, he's not coming back because they want to get that top pick because Andrew Luck and at the time RG3 was out there, that they're going to sit there and say, maybe, just maybe, new general manager, get a new coach, attach him to the hip of a quarterback that does not have that sort of mileage or problem in the shoulder. Like, get ready to hear that. I don't believe that. I think that they're just going to try and they should build a big, beautiful wall around Andrew Luck and make Jim Irsay pay for it. That's basically what they should do.
We, by the way, have an intern here on the show. That's Adam Evans. And Adam
from Kansas,
he
right?
won our Subway contest here. Is there a question you have, Adam, for Rich Eisen before I let him go? Because
I don't think he was planned. He was
that's what this is all about. I said plan for the unexpected here.
Okay.
So, Adam, do you have a question here?
What's your question? Do you have one?
Who do you got for the Super Bowl this year?
Okay.
All right. That's good.
All right. I said before the season the Patriots versus the Seahawks. I'm going to stick with it right now.
Okay.
But if I had to have a mulligan right now, I would keep the Seahawks. How about that?
And then you're going to go with my Steelers.
I do like the Steelers a lot.
Yeah.
Because
come on board.
Well,
I'll bring you.
Well, you've got that defense balling out.
They're playing.
At what point do announcers stop referring to T.J. Watt as J.J.'s brother? When do you put that line?
When J.J. stops playing, I think.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
Not this season is what you're saying?
No. He's going to get this the entire season.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And then Juju Smith-Schuster.
I know. Every time I say Juju Smith-Schuster, I think of your wife because her maiden name is Schuster, and one of these days I'm going to go Juju Susie Schuster.
I know she gets that all the time, especially since we are Jewish as well. I mean, it really is.
Juju is not Jewish.
That's not.
He is not.
No,
he's not. At least I don't think he is.
We're checking.
Okay, check on that.
Can you effort?
Yeah, check on.
Get the I team on that.
Yeah, McLovin is on that.
The J team. Get the J team on that.
What for?
I was pretty sure he was Jewish. That's
no, he's not. No,
That's a mock headline.
Remember when Harold Reynolds was with us? He thought Jock Peterson was black. So he said he was standing out. He was looking for a guy with an afro.
Can I give him a mock headline in advance?
Oh boy!
If the Steelers play on a Saturday and Juju Smith-Schuster balls out, the headline is Juju rolls on Sabbath. Okay? Thank you very much.
I'm going to let you have that. He's Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen show coming up.
I'll be here all day.
Thank you. Yes, you will. At least for the next 3 hours on Audience Channel 239 DirecTV.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.